Hello everybody, welcome back to Screen Stars, welcome to another classic film review. Today's classic film review is for the 1980 superhero sequel, Superman 2. A film that is directed by Richard Lester and Richard Donner, and it stars Christopher Reeve, Gene Hackman, Margot Kidder, Ned Beatty, Jackie Cooper, Sarah Douglas, Terence Stamp, Clifton James and E.G. Marshall. Now this is the direct sequel to the smash hit first Superman film, which I have done a classic film review on. And this was a film, once again, that I saw a lot when I was a kid. I went to the cinema to see this film an awful lot, and I would probably, when I was younger, have said this was my favourite Superman film. It was more action packed, more conflict. It felt like there were more at stake, and I just loved the final confrontation at the end of the film, between Superman and General Zod and the other two. It was just so exciting to me as a kid. Now, as a 48-year-old man, and I've had this view for a number of years, I prefer the first Superman film. I think that is a perfect superhero origin story, and I just love it. I still really love this film, although it's got some flaws. Now, the thing is with this film, and I'm sure many of you watching this will know the story behind Superman 2. Essentially, they filmed the bulk of Superman 2 the same time they filmed the first Superman film, and it was Richard Donner directing both films. Now, when it came round to Superman 2, Richard Donner was fired for a whole host of reasons, none of which were justified. And Richard Lester was brought on board, and then Richard Lester used some of the footage from what Richard Donner had filmed, and he filmed some of his own. So, like the Paris scene at the beginning, where he goes to Paris and he chucks the bomb up into space that, releases General Zod, etc. That was created by Richard Lester, and there were other sections of the film created by Richard Lester. I think the Niagara Falls scene and stuff like that were created by Richard Lester. The honeymoon scene, things like that. But as a kid, I didn't know any of this, you know what I mean? I still really, really enjoyed it, and I still enjoy the vanilla version, if you like, the theatrical version of Superman 2. I still think it is very, very enjoyable. And, full disclosure, I've never seen the Richard Donner cut, because Richard Donner a number of years ago came back and did his own cut of Superman 2, the way he originally intended it to be. Now, I do have the Richard Donner cut. I've got the Superman box set, and it does have the Richard Donner cut on there. I've always been reserved about watching the Richard Donner cut, because my childhood memories of the original Superman 2, are fond ones, and I don't want to get into that, well, this version's better than this version kind of thing. And potentially I am aware that probably the Richard Donner cut will be superior to this version. And I will probably, because I am reviewing slowly all the Superman films, I will probably certainly give it a go, the Richard Donner cut, and give you my thoughts on it with a follow-up review to this review. Let me know in the comments, guys, what you think of the Richard Donner cut. I'm sure many of you would prefer that over this version, but I just think this version is very, very good too. I think Christopher Reeve, again, and I've mentioned this a few times on a number of videos, but for me, Christopher Reeve is, simply put, is Superman. It's perfect casting in every way. Margot Kidder and him had great chemistry, and that continued into this film. And then the inclusion of General Zod was just fantastic. I mean, the battle at the end, the whole film generates around this huge build-up. They get to Earth, they cause chaos, they take over the White House, etc., etc. And then he discovers Zod that Kal-El is the son of Jor-El, and he wants retribution for what happened to him. So this whole thing builds and builds and builds, and then the whole storyline of Clark giving up his powers so that he could be with Lois. And then this quest to try and get them back when he discovers Zod is here. Great stuff, you know what I mean? And I remember watching it as a kid, and that sense of, I'm not really sure what it is, that fear that like, oh, his powers are gone. How is he going to do anything about this now? His powers are gone. And that scene, and it still gives me goosebumps now, that scene when Zod and the others are at the Daily Planet about to kidnap Lois Lane to get leverage on Superman, and he lands on the thing outside and he says, General Zod, would you care to step outside? Honestly, as a kid I was just beyond excited to see Superman, and then to know that this battle was coming between Superman and Zod and the others. It was just fantastic. And it still is very, very effective now. And then the follow-up battle between all of them is of its time in regards to the effects and things like that, but it still works, and it's still very, very effective, and it's still very, very exciting. And then the final confrontation at the Fortress of Solitude. Watching it now, there are certain things when I watch that and I just think, where are these powers coming from? These invisibility powers, and then duplication powers, and then pulling the S off his thing and throwing it at them. A lot of that, again, as a kid I wouldn't have cared, but now as an adult you look at it and you think that just seems a bit odd. Where have these powers all come from? And a lot of that didn't make sense. And again, another goosebump moment where you think Superman is giving up his powers again to save Lois, and he switches it so that they lose their powers. Again, I didn't buy it. As a kid, I thought, oh no, he's lost. And then that sense of joy and excitement when you realise he's switched the tables on Zod and the others, it was just electrifying, you know what I mean? I honestly think it's an excellent sequel. As it stands, the Richard Lester cinematic version, theatrical release, is still a very, very, very good superhero sequel film. So for me, it's a really good sequel, a really good Superman film. And I'm going to give this one an 8.5 out of 10. Very, very enjoyable indeed. Superman 2. So I will move on to either the Richard Donner cut of this or Superman 3 next. I haven't quite decided. And I will put up a review in a week or two for one of those. So thanks for watching, everybody. I hope you liked this review. I will be back with plenty more content on the channel very, very soon.